When I entered this society in 1978, Father Pedro Rupe was Superior General, in charge of all the Jesuits around the world. And I came to appreciate ever more, year after year, not only his deep prayerfulness, his hopefulness about our world, and this is a man who witnessed firsthand the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, but also his prophetic leadership of the society. He really called us to see ourselves and our works as promoters of a faith that includes the promotion of justice, bringing healing and justice and equity to our communities and to our societies. I was lucky enough as a young Jesuit to meet Father Rupe after he was diminished by a stroke. I'm forever grateful to have been able to kneel before him and receive his blessing. He's truly a holy man.
So actually the Jesuit who influenced me the most was a religious sister who was the first to introduce me to Ignatian spirituality. However, if I had to choose a Jesuit, I would choose Anthony de Mello. He was an Indian Jesuit priest and a mystic who I think did an incredible job of fusing Eastern spirituality with Western spirituality. And I'll leave you with one quote from him, my favorite quote. "I have no fear of losing you, for you aren't an object of my property or anyone else's. I love you as you are, without attachment, without fears, without conditions, without egoism, trying not to absorb you. I love you freely because I love your freedom as well as mine."
So the Jesuit who influenced me the most, there were many Jesuits actually, and they continue to influence me, as I hope I have influenced others. When I was younger, I did not know many Jesuits. I liked the Jesuits, I'd read about the Jesuits, I'd heard about them. When I became an undergrad, I was near the Western School of Theology, and there were a number of Jesuit theologians studying there, and a number of them influenced me on my vocation. One of them recently died, and a person gave me a piece of their clerical shirt. This particular Jesuit owned very little. There's very little in his room. But without even asking him, he sent me a piece of his clerical shirt, so I feel like I'm connected to him because I was not able to make it to the funeral. So I'll have this forever.
So I think the Jesuit who has most influenced my life is Pedro Arrupe. He was the superior, the head of the order when I joined the Jesuits in 1970 after Vatican II. His vision, his spirituality, his ability to reach East and West, his sense of the poor were very influential in shaping my outlook on life as a Jesuit, my spirituality. His emphasis on a faith that does justice, his commitment to the poor, something that he translated into men and women for others, was key in my own spiritual life.
I'm Father Francis Nguyen. I'm a Jesuit priest at Most Holy Trinity Church in San Jose. A Jesuit that influenced me the most is Matteo Ricci, an Italian Jesuit missionary who went to China in the year 1582. 6 years ago, I had a chance to visit his tomb in Beijing. I first know about him when I was a Jesuit novice reading a book called The Wise Men from the West by Vincent Cronin. Inside that book, there was a note from someone that read this book before. The note said, "I am glad you are reading this. I pray that you will follow the spirit of this wise man, Matteo Ricci." It is the spirit that recognizes that we cannot bring the gospel of love and salvation to somebody that we don't actually love and respect. It was Matteo Ricci's great knowledge that allowed him to enter a new empire. But it was his friendship with them that allowed God to enter their hearts. I pray for the spirit of Matteo Ricci in my ministry.
Hey everyone, my name is Father Andrew Laguna, and the Jesuit that has influenced me most is St. Peter Canisius. I first found out about Peter Canisius when I chose him as my patron saint for confirmation. I never went to a Jesuit school, so I had no idea he was a Jesuit at the time. I just thought he was a really inspiring person. He did so many things. He wrote books, he preached constantly, he tended to plague victims. He was even an important advisor at the Council of Trent. And even though he was incredibly busy, Peter put all his trust in God. He said, if you find you have too much to do, with God's help, you will find the time to do it all. And as a busy young adult, I really took his words to heart. When I began a certain religious life, I finally realized that Peter Canisius was a Jesuit, and this drew me closer to the society. And now, as a Jesuit priest, I see him as a brother Jesuit who I know is praying for me and guiding me in my vocation.